there haven't been any like complete derailments of my focus and productivity this week, which like those derailments aren't a terrible thing, right? They generally are where opportunities lie. So if I go, months without getting derailed, it means either I'm not trying hard enough, I'm not doing the right thing, or my businesses are no longer interesting to people. And all of those things are bad. But a couple of days of it is all right. I'll take that.
Yeah. I like that. That sometimes those interruptions are really powerful, and it's true. Opening yourself up to that is a good thing. It kind of, last week on the show I mentioned I want to talk about this Mark Cuban cost plus drug company, right? And, it doesn't really fit in a small business environment, because obviously it's going to be this massive business. Mark Cuban's a billionaire and all that kind of stuff, and obviously, Cuban has a tremendous business brain, right? If you ever watch Shark Tank, he's always thinking about opportunities. It totally makes sense. But what I was surprised to learn about this, and I think this company, the concept is terrific. It's a tremendous opportunity. If you don't know what it is, basically they're removing a number of layers of middlemen that before drugs and medicine gets to the pharmacy, there's a bunch of middlemen involved. A lot of them are benefits, things, and I don't know the exact name, but basically they're selling the prescription drug below what your copay would be with your insurance.
Okay.
So they don't deal with insurance companies. Another reason that they keep the prices so low. It's a unique business, and I would highly recommend you look at it just for this concept. But what I was surprised to learn, speaking about interruptions, is the whole thing just got started because some random guy in the medical field, I believe is a physician, sent Mark Cuban an email and just said, "Hey, this is an opportunity." Da 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 da. And I'll put a link in the show notes. There's a great podcast on how I built this, where Cuban talks about the reason behind it. He's not necessarily doing it to make a ton of money. He wants to grow this business. They have a flat 15% markup.
Okay.
On all the products that they sell. But it struck me how if a guy like Mark Cuban, who I would imagine might be a little busier than I am, maybe.
Maybe. That's a good question, but
I don't know.
Probably worthy of a different conversation, but sure. Let's go with that.
That's right.
Yep.
That's right. Yeah, I love that. Yeah. That's a whole other show.
Yeah.
But the fact that, open the email, and I get these kind of emails all the time too. And most of the time I just don't, no, that's kind of crazy, or no thanks. But here's like, well, that's an interesting concept. Maybe I should talk to this guy. And they've built this business. They're building a big plant, manufacturing facility near Dallas. And, they're committed to helping people. And it's a great opportunity, I think, to help people at the same time you grow a company. So just don't ignore those interruptions, because you just never know where they could lead.
Yeah, you never know.
Huh.
Yeah, right, yeah. Right. That's the kind of thing is these... there's a lot of, there's that whole, it was a graduation speech, like a college, I think, graduation speech that was delivered. And then it was turned into a song with someone, more like beat poetry, with someone reading the speech over just a chord progression underneath it, a little groove. And it's all about sunscreen. Really, it's about everything except sunscreen. Sunscreen is in the it's just, here's a bunch of advice I can give you, but I don't know what I'm talking about, except at the beginning I told you to wear the sunscreen and wear that. It's all these things, and one of the little anecdotal things in this piece, I'll call it, is that don't worry about life's interruptions. Those are the things that happen on a random Tuesday, and you have no control over them. And that is great advice. Like, do not just sit down and fret about, when is the other shoe going to drop? Because it will. The whole point is you don't know when. And if you sit around worrying about it, you've wasted a bunch of your time. But as soon as I heard that in this, whatever it was, maybe I read, I've experienced this bit of words, and I'll find I know I'm talking about it in this very vague way. I will find a link to some version of this so that you can all either read it or hear it. But That whole idea of the surprise that happens on a random Tuesday afternoon. Of course, we're recording this on a random Tuesday afternoon, so I realize I am tempting the gods here. But, that whole concept really hit me hard. It was like one of those powerful bolts of lightning the first time I heard it. And it was like, yeah, don't worry about what's going to happen on a random Tuesday afternoon because you don't know. That's the whole point.
That's right. Yeah.
But be aware that these things do happen, and some of them are really crappy and can totally screw you for years. And some of them are really amazing and can totally set you up for years. And it's just how life works.
That's right. And kind of this business brain concept that we've been leaning into is to just prepare yourself. I mean, some of those things you can't prepare. So just, okay, we're going to adapt and embrace the good things and mitigate the negatives, right?
Yep.
So it's fascinating.
There's another mindset approach that I think is valuable that I have learned to adopt and integrate into my life. And that is the approach that pilots are told to take. When you're flying your plane and something bad happens, the worst thing you can do is react immediately. Because when you're flying a plane, you have altitude, and altitude means you have time. And if you start changing your relationship with altitude by intention, you may be cutting into valuable time. So what they teach pilots to do is the first thing you want to do is stop and think about what you're going to do. And then once you come up with a plan, think one more time before you start to implement. And I think that's a really powerful way to approach those random Tuesday afternoon incidents, because a gut reaction, sometimes I'm sure we can all come up with examples where an immediate reaction saved the day and everything was great. However, most of the time, taking a moment, not overreacting, not reacting too quickly, breathe. Okay, here's the scenario. What does this actually mean? Now let's take action. You don't want to ignore it, because not taking action unintentionally is still an intentional act. But right. But that whole mindset of, okay, yep, the plane's still in the air, so we haven't crashed yet. Now let's figure out what our options are. Let's look around. Let's check all the instruments. Let's get all the data. Okay, now let's go. There's the risk of going overboard into, analysis paralysis. You don't want to do that either. But take a look, breathe, then take action and go.